All right. I'll take the stage. Hello again. So I had the privilege to work again with Dr. Galzo on a more technical project, which sort of became the gist of this presentation and paper. Unfortunately, Dr. Gao cannot make it here today, so we'll present a paper in this hybrid form, and later Gao can have answered some of the questions from online, but I don't think he's available today. Well, to be honest, although I've never been best informed about technical details of museum-oriented or creative technologies, I've always gravitated towards that their social and philosophical dimensions, and sometimes a practical aspect of how technology can be better utilized to enhance our artistic experience or mitigating other side effects, as I would recall from American philosopher John Dewey in his seminal work, Art as Experience. As he states here, every art communicates because it expresses, enables us to share vividly and deeply in meanings. For communication is not announcing things. Communication is the process of creating participation, of making common what had been isolated and singular, and a conveyance of meaning gives body and definiteness to the experience of the one for others, as well as to that of those who listen. So in this regard, museum technology does exactly that, and by communicating the experience, not by passively announcing it, but actively narrating and performing it, as Dewey would recall the process of creating participation. Subsequently, many reasons emerge why we keep improving the archiving method and technology of museums. In our times, Metaverse and VR have opened another door in this promising direction. In a nutshell, we propose in this paper a multi-screen information retrieval branching system that enables users to distinguish between priority and secondary information in VR environments by the screen's distance, improving the efficiency of information acquisition. However, before we delve into technical detail, it's crucial to understand the context of research. This project was developed predominantly as a response to the past pandemic, which urges us to rethink how we view and collect information. Secondly, many museums' archives are plagued by limited media access and two-dimensional format. Specifically, the way museum information requires a lot of access, and also it lacks a clear structure to guide the viewers. Simultaneously, the static two-dimensional format of computer screen severely limits the exploration of new topics on the web. To solve this issue, we developed an interactive system for VR multi-screen museum archival information browsing in the universe. The system performs keyword-based information retrieval and facilitates audience manipulation, organization, and linking with multiple content sources in an immersive environment. The system relies on a custom catalog to guide users through archival information browsing, allowing for the categorization and custom combination of primary and secondary information in a virtual reality environment. It addresses the need for personalization of browsing categories for web-based information access in the museum archival information browsing. We apply the system to the browsing of museum archival information, and it can also be helpful for many information browsing scenarios. Overall, our contribution can be summarized in the following points. In a virtual environment, we sort of introduce a multi-screen browsing system. With the help of this approach, we are able to organize our browsing of stored data according to how close the virtual screens are located to us. A multi-screen virtual reality system was created for browsing museum archive. This system is a multi-screen interactive way to browse museum archives where immersed in a virtual reality. And the third point is to enable immersive exploration of the museum archive in a virtual setting with suggested interactive features. On the basis of user need, we also created functions to direct interactive features in the VR system. While in regarding the formative studies, we sort of discovered that museums have undergone a severe crisis during the pandemic based on their ability to adapt to new forms and models. As a new strategy, many museums adopt VR for sustainability, or in other words, to stay relevant for a new audience. However, the issue here is still salient, and for museum goers, the way to browse online archives today is still in the format of text, images, or videos. In other cases, the way to browse online archives today is still limited to web and a very few VR exhibitions, it is a challenge for users to efficiently browse the museum archives and access related information quickly. Methodologically, we conduct questionnaires and semi-structured interviews with 15 participants, including artists A1, A2, A3, curators C1, C2, C3, museum archive expert M1, M2, M3, and general audience G1, G2, G3, G4, G5, G6. The questionnaires and interviews focus on the topics of museum archive methods, VR archives, and information browsing, and aim to address the current shortcomings of such methods while encouraging the participants to develop how such systems could be improved. Our research objective accordingly is to improve the archiving methods and the systems and for museums, and to develop a new framework for audiences to engage a greater body of works in a more efficient and accessible way, thus enhancing the artistic experience, at least from an epistemic perspective. As for the most important part of the research, the functionality of our system, we have strived to develop the following capabilities. Interaction with virtual space, interaction with archive content, and a new system for researching and browsing archive databases. Firstly, we presuppose that this system will be associated with a web platform to implement a metaverse virtual environment with a mixed reality interface and an interactive approach. Multiple screens can be interacted within the metaverse space, pulling in and out virtual screen that display primary and secondary information, and project the archived content display on the virtual screen into the area in front of the user, and allow the user to fast forward or backward and slide to any progress using gesture interactions, and such as swiping left and right to navigate in an immersive manner. Secondly, users can perform the most basic function for online archive content, including content browsing, downloading, commenting, and zooming in and out. User can interact with the exhibits in a virtual archive through gestures. Lastly, user can open multiple pages simultaneously by browsing and interaction, dragging pages as needed and hovering them where the users wants them, and prioritizing the reality of various interfaces in a semicircle around the user's face. In addition to the above features, users can achieve a multi-user asynchronous communication by leaving a tour trial and commenting on archived artwork. And this system will not be a simple overhaul of the original two-dimensional format, but an inclusive system to provide more options for searching and browsing and viewing experience. In conclusion, for expats deserve our attention here. As a result, we have developed a new multi-screen VR system for museum archiving experience. Practically, it does primary and secondary browsing and data retrieval, but with specifically VR functionality such as gestural asynchronous and traceable communications. As our process developed, we have also recognized and attempted to solve the problem of pre-existing museum software and VR built-in browsers by developing this immersive multi-screen VR system for the museum archive browsing. However, our current research still awaits future improvements to render it more visible and robust. We intend to look into the integrated design of the hybrid interface in the future, taking into account the multimedia system, recommender system, and human-computer interaction. Our engagement primarily with computers and multimedia will in the future concentrate on developing a meta-spatial museum that combines a physical museum with a digital. Our immersive multi-screen browsing system prototype is intended to sort of measure to engage other researchers and artists to connect digital and real world environments, and to further sort of investigate the usage of the metaverse for information retrieval and browsing. So that's basically the gist of the presentation, and Dr. Gao can answer some of your questions later by email or other forms.
Thank you so much.